Hi everybody, hope you're doing well at home. The video I've got planned for you is some ladies styling tips. So we're going to be looking at how we move our hands, how we move our arms, and we're going to do that via the medium of a left turn. It's one of my favourite steps, so hopefully we can jazz it up a little for you too. So the first thing I'd like you all to practice is just a few tips on how we're going to move our arms and our hands in salsa. So the thing I want you to focus on in this exercise is your wrist. So whenever you lift your arm up, you're going to lead with the back of your wrist. I know this doesn't look very pretty now, but hopefully it will look pretty in a bit. Then as you move your hand back down again, you're going to lead with the wrist, but now it's going to be the other side. So when your arm comes down, you're leading with where the buckle of a watch would sit. And then when you're moving your arm up, it would be where the watch face sits, so the back of your wrist. So that, when we're dancing and we're moving our arms, that is the principle behind the movement and behind what we're doing every time we lift or move our arm anywhere. So the other way you can think of it is if your hand is moving through the water, if you're moving that way, the drag would cause your hand to flop this way. And if you were to turn and go back the other way, your hand would get drag and move that way. So that's the quality we're looking for when you're using your hand. So whenever you're lifting your arm up, even if it's quick, that's the direction that we want your hand to move in all the time. So if you're lifting up, you lead with this side of the wrist, and when you're moving down, it's that side of the wrist. So that's one exercise you can do really, really easily at home. Whatever you're doing, waiting for the kettle, brushing your teeth, if you can do it with both hands at the same time. You want to be able to do it in lots of different directions though. So this is why it's a really useful exercise to practice. You can practice it in front of you, like this, making sure the elbow is tucked in and not like this. So in front of you, you can practice it. You can practice it on the side, lifting up and down. You can even practice it going behind you as well. Now, the other thing to remember is whatever you practice, you must do it on both sides. So it's all very well getting really, really good with it on your right arm, but you want to be able to do it with your left, and vice versa. If you're left-handed, you want to be able to do it with your right as well. So whatever you do on the right side, do it on the left. You might end up looking like this for a bit. That's okay. No one can see you. You're at home. So make sure you practice it on both sides. In front, to the side, even down behind you when you come up. So whenever we're lifting our arms in salsa, that's what we want to try and remember, leading with the wrist, whatever you end up doing. So that's the key for our little exercise today. So just bear that in mind. So now that we've used our wrists, just to recap everybody, just because I don't know the level of who's watching, so remind ourselves of the left turn. So dancing on one, we've got our basic 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. We step forward on 1, 1, 2, 3. Now just remember to use that front leg as a push-off step. Push, off, step. You're halfway around already. Just finish the rotation on your 5, 6, 7. So now we're all on the same page with our left turn. Let's do it a little bit quicker. 5, 6, 7, basic step. 2, 3, and 5, 6, turn. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. So left hand turn, sorted. Now let's add some arms. So we could do a whole 3-hour session on our basic step arms. There's so many different ways you can do it, but for today, let's keep it nice and simple. So we talked about this wrists coming up and down. Now we're in our basic step. There's a simple analogy which will help you get through all of your basics, which is that you're stroking a cat in front of you with both hands, lucky cat, both hands. The other way you can think of it is as if your hands are coming into prey, into the middle. If they were going to meet in the middle, that's the position they'd be in. So when they come down into the middle, that's where they're going to be. The only thing that means it's a bit like this is that it's going to be the opposite hand to leg. So when I step forward on my left leg, it's my right hand that comes in. And then as I switch, obviously my left hand comes over. So facing this way, my basic step, 1, 2, 3. Now you can see whilst I'm doing that, this wrist that we practiced earlier is coming into play. So every time I lift my arm, I've got this wrist here, switches to pray, leads with the wrist there, and pray, or stroke cat, whichever analogy we use. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. That's it in its simplest form. If you can just get the coordination of that, that's great. We can add all the wrists and stuff later. We can make it look pretty another time. But just in terms of coordination, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So let's try that all together. 5, 6, 7, basic, 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. Hope that's going well. Don't forget, the beauty of the video is you can rewind and keep practicing that with me. So let's move on to the left turn. I'm going to give you 3 options. Lucky 3 options. So the first option for our left turn arms, again using this same technique of leading with the wrist, is a simple wrap. We use wraps a lot. Now the same principle applies here. Lift your hand and lead with the wrist. So we're going to use our left arm to wrap in front of us. So we don't want it to just look like dunk, like this. We're going to make it lead with the wrist until it makes contact with your body and then your fingers go last. The same thing happens on the back. You're going to lead with the wrist and fingers land last. It's hard to say. So as we step forward on 1, that's when everything lands. I'll show you the timing. 5, 6, 7, 8. So on 8, you're going to bring your hands up so that they can wrap down. And because they've come up, the wrist leads at the top. 5, 6, 7, and 1. So as we take that step forward, everything lands. 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3. Now once we've wrapped our arms, when we've wrapped them in Salsa, obviously they don't stay there. We want to get them off our bodies again. So as we do our turn, they're just going to stroke across your tummy and your back at the same speed as each other and come back off. So throughout the turn, we're going to go 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3. By 3, they're pretty much finished, and then we just finish the rotation to get back to the front. 5, 6, 7. So let's do that with a basic step as well. 5, 6, 7, basic. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6. We turn. 1, 2, 3, they're off. 5, 6, 7. Brilliant. So the way we want to get back into our basic step is once we've finished our wrap, 1, 2, 3, 5, then we get back to our strokey cat thing, 6, 7. So if you start them back on 6, you'll always have something to get back into your basic with. So walk that through with me from the left turn, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, and 5. Ready with your right hand on 6, 6, 7. And then we're back into our basic. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Left turn. 7 and 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. That's combination 1. So the second option, we're going to do what I call a push with our hands. We use this one a lot. This is probably my favorite one, I think. It's very elegant. It's exactly the same principle again. We're going to get more chance to practice this. The preparation is very, very similar. Just before we start, we're going to lift the hands. So from our basic step, we've got 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. They're going to come up together, and we're just going to push. I often call this the penguin. We want the hands to push down either side here, flat there. So we've got 1, and they stay there only for the count 1, because then as soon as we've done that, they're going to shoot up here, showing our armpit. So here we go. From our basic step, 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. The arms come up, and then 1, 2, 3. Now by 3, they've come up, and they're going to come down behind our back. Quick tip is obviously you're going to be dancing with a partner in front of you eventually again. So once your hands have come up here, when you start bringing your hands behind your head, try not to do it with your elbows out, because you can see the obvious issue there. You'll end up hitting someone. So once they're up here, bring your hands down, collapse your hands down behind your head, leaving your elbow high, because then you're not at risk of hitting something like this. So again, in the context of the turn, you've got 1, 2, 3, bringing your hands down behind your head, 5, 6, then they just come back round, 7, and then you're ready to start your basic again. 2, 3, here we go all together. 6, 7, arms up, and then push, up and round, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, one more time. 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And just the same as the previous move, 6, 7 to get back into your basic step. Option 3. We're going to do half a wrap and half up. So exactly the same preparation again. We're going to be lifting our arms up just before we step forward on one. And as we come into our left turn, we're going to do a wrap with the left arm that comes around the front of us. One. And at the same time, we're going to do exactly what we did in move 2, which is shoot the arm up. 1. So all of those things have to happen together on the first count. So from our basic step, 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, we go 1. So that's quite a lot happening all at once. One more time. 5, 6, 7, basic. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, 1. So the right arm is going just all the way down, again leading with the wrist and up to the top. Let the hand relax, no tension. This arm, 1, just like we did earlier in combination 1. So again, from the top, 5, 6, basic step. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, 1. From there, 2, 3. So just like combination 1 and combination 2 combined, this arm is going to trail across. This right arm is just going to trail around the head. 5, 6, 7. And again, just like the previous, 6, 7. Let's try that from the top. 5, 6, basic step. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. Let's try them all to some music. Good luck. So first of all, we're just going to try our basic step with our cat stroking. So your right arm will be first, going in front of you. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Let's try it with the basic. 5, 6, 7. 1.
Que nuestro romance acabaría. No me digas nada.
Shave from the front.
No quiero más palabras. Porque aun
They're only small cats.
me
We don't want to make it too big.
lastiman.
Just nice and small.
No me digas nada y márchate.
Okay, let's try combination
No
1,
llames amor a tu
which was the wrap.
hipocresía.
Here we go. And 1,
No me digas
5,
nada.
6, 7.
El tonto
And again.
aquí he sido
Here we go.
yo.
1,
Me dañaron
5,
rosas
6,
tus
7. Remember when you come out, 6, 7.
Lluvias,
Here we go again. Combination 1,
como la
1,
lluvia.
5,
Gota a
6.
gota fueron enfriando. Mi alma,
Excellent.
mi cuerpo y
So
mi
number 2 is this one.
ser.
Here we go. 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
Fueron enfriando.
And again. And 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. One more time. 1, 5, 6, 7, 1. Now let's combine the 2 into combination number 3. Here we go. 6, 7, 1. 5, 6, 7. Good. One more time. Wrapping with the front, shooting up with the left. Other way around. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 1. Good. So if you're up for it, we'll do all 3 without me talking,
Y márchate.
one after the other.
No llames amor a tu
Okay,
hipocresía.
let's go.
Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Me dañaron rosa tus espinas. Lluvia, tus besos fríos como la lluvia.
Did it go well?
Que gota a gota fueron enfriando.
Let's try again from the top. Here we go.
Lluvia, tus manos frías como la lluvia, que día a día fueron enfriando mi ardiente deseo y mi piel. Lluvia, tus besos fríos como la lluvia, que día a día fueron enfriando mi ardiente deseo y mi piel.
We'll do it together again with me dancing it facing you this time. From the top, everyone. Here we go. For those of you who are watching on 2, I'll quickly demo it now on 2 for
y
you.
derramarme en tu cuerpo y siempre amarte, amarte, amarte y amarte. Lluvia, tus besos fríos como la lluvia. Yo quería tenerte, saciarme de ti, tú no me dejaste.
And from the front as well.
Me dejaste con las ganas. Eso no se hace. Lluvia, tus besos fríos como la lluvia.
Have fun practicing, everybody. See you for the next video.